Hey there, Sarah Shaw and Lisa Ascolese, the Inventress, here again for another episode of Dial for Dollars, and we're so psyched to be here with you today. And we are going to be talking about having faith and having the power to keep going in your business, right, Lisa?
Yes, indeed. Hi, everybody. So happy to be here again with you, Sarah. I love us.
We have so much fun. I love our recording days. I'm always like zipping to my desk and turning on all my techie stuff, as you say.
Yes, you are. Yes, indeed.
Chit chat. Mm-hmm.
No, I love it. I definitely love that. So I love this topic because, it does take determination to succeed at anything that you're doing. Anything you decide to do, you have to be determined to do it, especially when it comes to building products, building a brand. It's not just let me invent something or let me design something and have no faith and no inspiration behind it, because it weakens your brand, it weakens your product, and people sense that. Don't you agree?
Oh, totally. It's kind of like I say to people, a lot of people don't like making sales calls, but I always say you have to make sales calls because you are going to always talk about your business and your product, or whatever it is that you're selling, and have that passion behind it. And sometimes I hate the word passion, but in this case, I think it's really important because you're the one who invented it. So I don't care if you've got, somebody who can talk the talk and walk the walk. I think that you're always going to have that drive to be able to, because it comes from the heart and the soul. And
there you go.
And when someone else is selling your product or talking about it, they're never going to have that same heart and soul as you do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely not. And that's why, people get nervous when they say to me, when the product goes on QVC, are you going to present it? And I said, you know what, I would love to do it for you, but you're the inventor, and this is for on air. You're the inventor. You have that heartfelt understanding. You did it. You birthed it. It's your baby. You have that passion and determination behind your product, and nobody will ever have it. I don't care how good, like you said, the salesperson is. It doesn't come as naturally as when it's coming from you, and people believe you. They believe you when you believe in your product.
And that's the key, is that you have to believe in your product, right? It's got to be birthed from your need and necessity, right? It's funny. I mean, we obviously both talk to so many inventors all the time, and people are, find us on social media and, can I talk to you for a couple minutes? Is this a good idea? Right. And sometimes, for me, the first thing that I listen to is the passion behind why they created it and what it brings to the table for them. Because I find that even if it's just a great idea, like somebody pitched me an idea yesterday to see if, not that they wanted me to do anything with it, but did I think it was something worth pursuing? And they were so non-passionate about it. It was just an idea, and it was something for kids, and I didn't feel like they even thought their kid would like it. And it's like, how like, you can't invent something for kids that your kids don't want. Like, it just, I don't know how I would never be able to do that. Right?
Of course not.
It's kind of like the faith wasn't there. Like, that if they had to get up and pitch it to a big company, I think they would fail.
They would fail. It's all that. It's all that. It's having people believe you. And, there's so many people out there just building products. Of course, we have all of these incredible shows on, from Shark Tank to Invent Tank, and every show that's on these days. Many of them are about inventing and product development and branding. And I think people feel compelled to do it because they just think that it's going to make them money overnight.
Right.
And it's so far from that. That's, it's going to cost money. Developing products, designing products, ideas, it's going to cost money. And like I said, if you don't have, number one, the determination or number one, the faith, I should say, and the determination, you probably shouldn't be doing that thing.
Right. Exactly.
Because it's, unless it's a hobby and you don't really care about how much money
right.
you spend, and you just
exactly.
want to throw things around and throw stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's
not
funny. Smart, it's not the right thing to do. It's not the smart thing to do.
Exactly. Because you brought up the TV shows, when you watch, I always feel like, I love them all. So, and I learn so much, from watching those shows, and you
every
learn,
day.
Especially people who are looking for investors, right? Who don't have the money or the capital to keep pursuing, because for whatever reasons. And, that's a whole nother topic we'll have to talk about.
Yeah, that really is. That's a giant one.
Yeah, and that might be like 5 conversations. But but one of the things that, if you watch these shows with a different perspective, like how you and I probably watch them, is very similar in that we're not just oohing and eyeing about the item, right, or the potential investors' reaction to it, or whether they invest or not, for me is beside the point. For me, it's looking at how they react to the inventor.
Yes.
And that, and that sometimes they're like, we love you so much. Like, I would invest. Sometimes they actually say, I would just invest in you, whatever you're going to come up with, right?
Yes.
And like Robert Hershkovich is always, he falls in love with the inventors. I always find a lot more than he does with their product, because they have so much passion, and he can see that if they got behind a product, that they'd be unstoppable. And that's, I think, the difference between someone who's, this is kind of cool, or, I have this great idea, but my kids wouldn't even wear it, right? But I think it's a cool idea. Do you think it's a cool idea?
Yeah. Do you think it's a cool idea?
And obviously, it's right. It's just an idea. There's no proof of concept yet. But it's having that. It's having people see that you light up when you think about it. Even thinking about it, people can tell you're thinking about it because you've got this, happy glow going on.
And it makes all the difference in the world. It makes all the difference. I remember this woman. In the very beginning, maybe their second or third episode, speaking about Shark Tank, this woman had a product. I think she had a prototype made. I think it was some kind of a can opener. She didn't have one sold. She didn't have any numbers. She had nothing behind her. They fell in love with this woman because of her passion. And, she was up there saying, I need this. I need this myself. I need this in my kitchen. And they bought it. They took it.
Yeah.
Then they supported her. They funded her, and it was the most amazing thing to me. So what you're saying is absolutely right. It's the way you present yourself, and if you come in half-heartedly, I will never take on a project where I'm more passionate than my client. I just won't do it because I know how hard it is going to be to do the work. I know how hard it's going to be to have them put a pitch packet together, or send me prototypes, or mail me things that they're supposed to be mailing me. I know that I'll be pulling teeth, and I'm not interested in doing that. Don't you love the client who comes full force, full throttle, heels to the ground, and jumping out of their boots because they want to do it? They want to. They know it, and they believe. I believe it. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it, whatever it is. Even if your kid doesn't want to play with it, I'll play with it. Let's make it happen.
There's something about that energy, right? That is, it makes you unstoppable, is what it does.
Yes, it does.
And we both see the difference in the people who just have a good idea and are jumping to can't stop talking about their idea. Sometimes you're like, okay, I've heard enough. And
Truly.
Save that pitch for someone who's actually going to buy it from you, because I'm just helping you, right? And there's that difference where you're trying to help someone put the pitch together, right? Like you were saying, versus the person who just, it rolls off their tongue and they are so enthusiastic and knowledgeable about what they've created, and the reasons that you need it, want it, should use it, should buy it, whatever.
For sure. So I have to share with you, yesterday I taught at the Dionne Warwick Institute, and I do my problems, challenges, and solutions classes. It's in Benny A to Z, and I put groups together, and they work in groups of 5 or 6, and they have to invent a product. And it was very short. It was truncated version of what I typically do in my 90-minute classes. But some of these groups put products together, and they were so passionate about every single product they made because they really put thought into it. And this was in just a few minutes. And I said, I have to use them as examples. And they were like, can we do this? Can we actually make this? Can we invent this, Miss Lisa? Can we do it tomorrow? When are you coming back? The passion behind what they were building was enormous. Enormous. I said, I need their energy every single day. I need that, and I need to put them on calls with my clients every day. I go, okay, you're hired, guys. You're hired to be the motivators behind some of the clients I work with. But kids are free and they're free-spirited, so they can think freely also, and really get behind whatever it is they're working on. So
awesome.
that was extremely amazing. These young minds. But so it's important. It really is important. And even pitching products and as I said, when I present products to television networks or to wherever, I need for my clients to feed me their energy before I go. I need their energy. Mm-hmm. Don't you agree?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's unbelievable, when you think, when you're working with someone and they're kind of like this, and and you think you're right, kind of blasé, and just don't have that energy behind it. That because when I would call, and I probably have mentioned this on one of our chats, but when I first started my handbag line, 500,000 years ago, I as my kids say, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, Mommy. And I'm like, thanks. And but I used to I didn't know anything about passion or being an entrepreneur. I mean, I didn't know anything about that or even what that really was, right? Because, my dad was a psychiatrist. He didn't really have to have a lot of passion about his business. So he wasn't selling it to anybody, right? And so, he had a lot of passion in the moment, I know. But it wasn't something that I saw, like my family, I didn't see my grandmother, who had a clothing store in Manhattan. I did see her. I did go on some selling trips with her, and I was her model when I was 6 and 7 and 8.
Oh, that's
and it was so cute.
Cool.
We'd go to like Neiman Marcus or whatever, and she'd put, we'd be in this huge room, and there'd be a little screen, and I would put clothes on for the buyers. And
wow, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah,
that's great.
And, I don't tell that story that much, but I used to watch her sell, and she had such passion and this just knack of a natural way of speaking, right? Here's my, and she always was like, this is my granddaughter, always introduced me and was so proud of the fact that I was there with her. But it was her way of talking to buyers. And I never thought about it again because I was a little kid, right?
Sure.
First, second, third, fourth grade, whatever. And then, but then when I started my own company and I thought, oh God, I have to start talking to buyers like my granny did, right? And I was terrified. And I sometimes would conjure up these images of her with her ease and her ability to just talk about, and the pin tuck here and the puffy sleeves, and you see how this zips up the back, and how, and she would talk to the buyers just about the clothes, not about how fabulous she was or, anything that had to do with her. It was just about the benefits of the product and why it was going to sell and why it was good for their customer. And so
that's what they want to hear.
Yeah, but she had this amazing passion and ease about how she spoke about it all. And I was, and I never, like I said, didn't think about it when I was a little kid. I was just like, am I done? Are we going for ice cream now? But then, as an adult, when I started I used to have to psych myself up. Like I couldn't just be like, all right, well, it's time to call stores and just sit down and just be the fabulous person I knew I needed to be on the phone.
Yes.
It was psych myself up, think about the product, go over, like I had this whole list of benefits of why my bag line was so great or unique or whatever I was doing, where the fabrics came from and, the things that I thought that I could use to push it, right? And that I needed to kind of psych myself into that passionate mode, right? Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing like 4,000 hats and you're like, I just swept the floor and packed a box and talked to the UPS dude and then had to run to the, whatever. And, and then I had to learn something on my computer now, right? And then now I have to start selling this to buyers, right? And you're not in that mode because you're so
sweating.
Distracted. Right, exactly.
You're sweating from all the things you just did and taking on and off all of the different hats.
Yeah. And so I think it's so important, right? Like when you were working yesterday with those kids, they were just concentrating on you and one thing, and that you had their attention, right? And I think that especially as women, we all think, because we're all good at multitasking, most of us, and we all think the more we multitask, the more we get done. But actually, it's the other way around. I mean, if you're cooking dinner and talking on the phone, that's one multitasking. That's not a big deal. Not trying to sell something, but talking to your mom. But when you're working, like it's because it's been proven that it takes 20 minutes for your brain to get into something, right? And so the way I used to train myself is for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I would practice my pitch and get into the moment of the benefits of my products because I knew that was the only, I mean, I had to teach myself this because I, flubbed up a million times talking to buyers and then thought I had to talk about how fabulous I was, but they don't care about that.
It's not necessary. They can care less. No. Show me the money.
Right. Exactly.
How this product is going to make money on our network or in our retail stores.
Exactly. Yeah. Or on our
That's
website.
So true. And you learned or on our website. And you learned this from your grandmother. You didn't even realize at the time, right? You were getting that education from her, and you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
just like you working with those kids yesterday and nurturing their brain to think in a different way.
In a different way, that's right. It's much like when you watch these people on shopping networks, these the hosts on shopping networks. They talk about that backyard sell when they're talking to the customer. They're just talking to the customer about the product. Yes, they ask how their day is going, but that lasts about 30 seconds because each show is 6 minutes, so they better keep it moving and get all 3 bullet points about the product out and repeat those bullet points about the product and talk about why they should buy it.
Exactly.
So it's a skill. It is a skill, and you're right about taking the 20 minutes. I agree with that. Just taking the time to think about what it is you're selling, what it is you're pitching, and get in all of those important details without being distracted from anything else because you have a very limited time to put your product out there and have somebody get it.
Exactly.
And not be distracted. Don't distract them from what the real point is.
Right.
And have that passion. As I said, have the passion about the product and the determination, and you'll do it. You'll sell it. And we can do anything. We could do anything we put our hearts and minds behind. You know that? That's what's amazing about, mostly women, because we can do everything, especially multitask, but we also have to, give ourselves the time to focus in on one thing in order to do it well. In that moment anyway, or in that space that we're working in.
Yeah.
But
totally.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
And how do people find out more about working with you, Sarah? Give them your email address and all that good stuff. And tell them how
so you can
work
find
with them.
me, just go to sarahshawconsulting.com and you can contact me through the contact page or email me at sarah@sarahshawconsulting.com. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. And what about you?
So, they can go to my website, inventingatoz.com, which will also bring them to my my conference page, AOE, the AOWIE.com. I've combined both websites They can also email me, info@inventingatoz.com. But today they should probably go to the website AOE because we have a conference coming up June 29th. That's Saturday, June 29th from 11 to 5 in New Jersey, and it's going to be a blast. And you need to be here. You know that, right?
I know. I just can't come this year.
I know. Well, we'll definitely make it. We'll make it next year.
Exactly. Yeah, I need 6 months. I'm one of those crazy moms that plans summer like 6 months in advance. So
I know you do, and you're going to have a great summer with the kids. But we'll definitely plan on seeing you here for the next one. I'll check your children's calendars.
Yeah, check my children's calendar.
I'll ask them
all my
first.
friends who want to come back as my children in their next life.
I know I do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I do too. I'm first. Okay, well, this was super fun, and I can't wait to chat with you again next week. So you all have a great week, and thanks for tuning in to Dial for Dollars with Lisa Ascolese, the Inventress, and myself, Sarah Shaw, and we will catch you all next week.
See you next time. Bye-bye.